You know, the oddities of things that you need to keep an eye on in the market has just gotten a whole lot crazier with Ancient Forest. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more Oz content. Now, I'm sure you guys saw the Market Watch this morning about Ancient Forest, and a lot of people are like, what in the world does Ancient Forest have to do with the meta? First of all, I want to think that this has got to do with ancient format applications, because there were Gladiator Beast decks back in the day that chose to actually play Ancient Forest because Ancient Forest acted as a pseudo floodgate for, the meta. Because basically, any monster that attacks gets destroyed at the end of this turn's battle phase. So what you would do with it is you would be able to attack with your Gladiator Beast and then tag it out before the Ancient Forest could be able to devastate the Gladiator Beast. Now, once again, all old applications aside, this is a walking, talking floodgate. Alright, this is, I think, one of the more interesting older floodgates built in on a field spell here. And also, let's not forget the fact that we are still expecting some sort of support for Luna out here. We have not gotten an Ancient Fairy retrain yet. Ancient Fairy is the last of the Signer Dragons to not receive their upgrade. So that's a very, very important thing to think about out here is Ancient Forest resides from their deck. And the fact that not only do you have older format applications, it is a floodgate, even if it's not considered a super good floodgate. And to top things off, yes, we could be getting the Ancient Fairy archetype power-up support to quite possibly interact with Ancient Forest. There's a lot to think about in terms of what we're seeing and interacting with via this card, but I do think that it is definitely on the block of things to look at and go, wow, okay. Next up is Herald of the Orange Light. I feel like we come full circle with this card, with a lot of the meta choices out here. Just honestly because Herald, Madolche played the card for a little while. It shows up in its, we're going to say, the niche interactions pile out here. But now, Madolche hasn't seen hardly any play whatsoever, but now it's got to do with the Melodious piles floating around out here. Melodious gets the chance to play Herald of Orange Light as an extra hand trap, and having that extra hand trap be a usable negate pop matters a lot. Also, Melodious always tends to have some free fairies floating on in the hand. And Herald of Orange Light, I think, is the thing that kind of allows this deck to kind of hold itself together on the end of things. Just having that hand trap after you have the bounce board set up to control your opponent out of the game. It is super easy to do. I think, obviously, the ulti's been going up for a little while again. But you've also got to remember, you also have Madolche support coming in the next set. Whether or not Madolche takes off as a meta contender, again, doesn't really matter. It's another deck that can, return back to utilizing this card as an active hand trap, and that's what people want to see. They want to see the fact that, we can put this pressure on our opponent and have this extra hand trap, even though it's, it's a -1, it doesn't really matter. It's, you can choose at which points that you need to use the card to control the opponent in any sort of situation that you might actually need to. So, yes, Herald is on the move again. I don't think anybody should be surprised. This one's a pretty big, we've seen this in the meta for a little while. It's going to continue to stick around for a bit. Next up is the Angel of Blue Tears. Now, I have talked a lot about this card. Actually, when we first started seeing this in the OCG, and guess what? It's starting to show up in more and more builds in the OCG as a one-of, because it is a thrust target. So it lets you target one face-up monster on the field. Its controller's opponent takes damage equal to the number of cards in their hand times 200, then negate that target's effects until the end of this turn. So if I target your monster, I take however many cards in my hand's worth damage. If I target my own monster to negate its effects, I ping you for some damage. Okay, so we've got a walking, talking negate that pings for damage. Okay. And then if effect damage is inflicted, except during damage step, you can banish this card from your graveyard, set a normal trap card directly from your hand or deck, and if set from the hand, it can be activated this turn. You can only use one Angel of Blue Tears effect per turn, and only once that turn. You know, the fact that we have a card that gives you a negate ping for damage, the fact that you've also got the ability here that if your opponent attempts to put any damage on you, you get the ability to bring out any trap card that's normal from your deck. There's a lot of application to be discussed with this card, but this card is available as a rare. And, you know, this is the pickups video. So if this is one of those things that you're like, okay, I can see why the OCG trends are, you know, kind of starting to show this card as a one-of. We'll have to wait and see if this has competitive application here in the TCG. I think it could, honestly. But once again, it's a one-of. It's not like it's a crazy, ooh, 10 cents, you got one sort of thing. And that's really what you want to be seeing out here is, you know, support cards that you can play with. Next up is Ice Jade, a grind. Oh, boy. Here we go again. So, for those of you that don't know, the whole ice barrier stuff is coming down the pipeline here. And I'm honestly super excited that we're going to get the chance to have the ice barrier stuff sitting around in the course of the meta. I don't think it's extremely good. I think the synchro is very, very strong, but it's not been enough. So the biggest things to look at here with a grind being the big synchro, you also want to keep an eye on the little ice shade that actually allows you the chance to kind of turbo this out and do your thing. Because remember, you know, the ice barrier stuff does lock you into water synchro, and Ice Jade Gymere here gives you another different option tree to go down. And also, this card can be stupid at certain points in time. This should... See, the problem with this is this should be up on for a reprint here sometime in the future. I wouldn't be surprised to see this card get tossed into battles as a reprint. So I guess, especially with Ice Jade ran a grind, both of these should be up for probably some sort of cheaper availability. But I guess if you're looking at building ice barriers for the very early stages of the deck's life, you're unfortunately going to need to look at these two cards and make a decision and go, well, do I need to get these now, or is it worth it to sit back and not deal with it? And to be honest with you, I think you do need these. And if you can try to make a build without them, sure, but I don't foresee it actually working out in a usable fashion, unfortunately. But you know what? It's cool to see the Ice Jade stuff bouncing up a little bit. And then I want to talk about these really cheap Starlight rares that have been floating around in the market. I don't know if you've paid much attention, but the cheap Starlight market used to be, what, like $70? Now the super bad Starlights have started to hit like $30, man. And this is basically to the collectors out there, too, that, you know, look at this stuff. And you're like, well, you know, they killed the market. I don't really know if I want to go with this. A $25 card to add to your collection to have that could, you know, eventually, as more and more people kind of look at things and go, okay, you know, we'll pick up one or two along the way and we'll start to just kind of gradually see these vanish. Yeah, I think it's kind of worth it to look at and consider just the slow takeaways from the market. This looks like a fantastic opportunity. I mean, if stuff goes lower, well, you as an educated consumer need to make decisions. Looking at a $25 card for your collection is not the absolute worst thing in the world, in my opinion. But cheap Starlight rares, interesting. I don't know which ones are the ones to go for right now, if really any. But if the market's going to continue to push these down to maybe like $20, having one or two in your collection for something like the Armed Dragon Level 10 Thunder that you just wanted to have a copy because you like the card, maybe you'll get rewarded in a good couple years. But it's that sort of thing you got to look at in the market and go, huh, interesting. Value swings are definitely in some very, very interesting places right now with Yu-Gi-Oh! So what do you guys think about everything? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. And, well, I'll see your beautiful faces back in the day, guys. Peace out.
Patrons! Thank you!
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.